Heading into week 4, we have our picks with your boy Justin Henry, Parmar here. Butchered your last name there. That's what happened. I got to throw a little shade at you because you beat me last week in our pick'ems, man. So I got to throw a little dirt anytime I can on your name, man.
Hey, man, throw that dirt, baby. You know what I'm saying? Hey, that's all you can do, man. You need to start winning is what you need to do, man. What's the score?
The score right now, week 4 overall record heading into week 4. I'm exactly tied. 15-15. I went 9-6 the first week, 6-9 the next week. 16-14. You've been consistent. 8-7 both weeks. So a little mediocre. You know what I'm saying? No ups, no downs, just mid. Which you know what I'm saying? That's fine, man. We got these, you know what I'm saying? We got these week 4 picks this week, and there's a few good games on the slate. Again, we have 2 Monday night games this week. We have a Thursday night and Sunday night game, obviously. And we got to start with the Thursday night game. Getting this one in, even if you see this, we're getting this in before the game started. Dallas at New York tonight on Thursday night football. In this game, divisional game, we've seen Dallas. They're in desperate need of a win this week. The Giants have been a little shit talking on Malik Neighbors' side. Who you got in this one?
I think one team is desperate. They're in a must-win now. I'm taking Dallas. I'm going to take Dallas. Dallas generally beats up on the Giants, but similar to last season, the first 3 weeks they're trying to figure out their identity. And then in week 4, they just let Dak go. So I think that's the same situation they got going on here. They realize that they struggle to stop the run. And I think Dak's going to cook. I see a big game from Dak, big game from CeeDee Lamb, and also a big game from Ferguson. Give me Dak, baby.
On a short week, traveling on the road into New York. I don't know, bro. This is one of them games. One of them games that I look like. I think Dallas is clearly the better team, in my opinion, but they've also had some question marks offensively this year. Like, we don't even know who their starting running back is. We don't know who their number 2 receiver is. We've had guys in and out. So, I think for everything that I think Dallas is better, I'm going to take the home dog in prime time to win this game, even with the 5 points. Give me the Giants with the 5 points. I think that they beat Dallas in this game. I think we might have been underrating the Giants heading into the year.
Yeah, I can see that. It's not too far-fetched. It's funny because the Giants' defense is it's not as bad as people thought.
It's not.
You know what I'm saying? It's not bad, and Dallas just has trouble stopping the run. That everybody's talking about how small that goddamn front 4 is for Dallas, and what you want to do, man? I don't know, but I got to take Dallas. I think they just got better skill positions, better quarterback, better wide receivers. I don't know. Give me Dallas.
They're a better team. I think you're right there. They're a better team overall, but it's just I don't know. This one to me smells a little fishy, and sometimes with especially when we're doing pick'ems, it's like sometimes against the grain is the best way. So split on that one. Next up, we got another division game here in New Orleans at Atlanta, and this should be a pretty good game. The score is kind of low, though, 42 points on the board. The Falcons are favored by 2.5 points. And for this one, I think Atlanta's the better team. And I think we saw kind of the high end of what the Saints were going to do early in the year. Explosive offense, beat up on Dallas. Alvin Kamara ran crazy on them, beat up on Carolina when they were going through their stuff there. And then last week kind of met their match a little bit. And I think Atlanta is probably reeling off that loss to the Chiefs where they had an absolute chance to win that game at home. This is a game I think for their sake, it's a must win if they're trying to win the division. Give me Atlanta with the points. I'll take Atlanta to win the game.
Wow. Atlanta with the points. I think this game is close. I like New Orleans defense. I think they have a better overall defense. Atlanta may have a game plan against New Orleans after seeing how Philly's played them. Philly kind of stifled the run, made it a little troublesome. But we're splitting here again. I'm taking NO. I got to see more consistency out of Atlanta. I personally just think that New Orleans secondary matches up well with Atlanta with those corners and those safeties.
Yeah.
Give me Atlanta. If this is going to be a game where Bijan takes over, it's probably going to be this game. If he's really that number 1 back you think he's going to be in fantasy, he's getting a lot of opportunities. But to be honest with you, I think just it comes down to that defense, and it comes down to the play calling and the scheme, and I think that that's going to favor New Orleans. Give me New Orleans.
So we're splitting again on this one. New Orleans and Atlanta. Another split for us, man.
Mm-hmm.
Going to Chicago, the Rams and the Bears. This game, P, I don't know. I don't have a real good sense on this one, man. The Rams obviously beat up and bruised, came and beat us up. It's sad. It's sad.
Yeah.
Anyway, I hate talking about it. They beat us, and you go to Chicago, turned up a little bit. We finally seen some good Caleb Williams. We know this run game is atrocious. This line played a little bit better last week. Still has some work to do. Who you got in this one?
So this game, I think Atlanta just plays us, the Rams just play us different. That's always a big game. Shanahan versus McVay, but I don't see that happen. I think Chicago's defense is going to come through here. I think they get to the quarterback a lot. Although Chicago's offensive line is garbage, I think that they found sparks in both Cole Kmet as well as Roschon Johnson, looking like he's an adequate runner. I think they lean on him a little bit more. They're really seeing that Swift is just one of those guys who doesn't have the best vision, as talented as he is.
Yeah.
Roschon does more with his work than Swift does. And I just think ultimately that defense comes alive. Could be a good game for your boy too.
Who?
God, what is his name?
What team? I don't even know what team you're talking about.
Chicago. You see the fingernails?
The nails? Are you painting your nails? What you do, bro? Come on, Caleb.
Caleb.
This does seem like a Caleb Williams. How you forget Caleb Williams, bro?
I kept thinking Corey or Colby. Something. I was like, something with a C and an L and a.
Yeah, Caleb Williams, man. Obviously the nails. Yeah, I wouldn't think about that, but you know what I'm saying there. I think this is a game for this Bears offense to prove themselves. Obviously, we saw what Juwan Johnson did, or us and these names, bro. Juwan Jennings, we saw what he did last week against this Rams team, and wouldn't surprise me to see Romo Dunze continue to have this chemistry with Caleb Williams and play well. So I'm in on the Bears too. Love me some Shy, and this is one of them games where this is one of them. This is.
If you say he's gonna jump into the stands and start crying, I swear to God.
No, man, he's not crying. He's not crying at all. And maybe this is just us hating on the Rams right now. I'm going with Chicago. Like I said, Shy for the win, baby. Shy for the win.
Chi-town.
Shy for the win. Let's go. Minnesota, Green Bay, another division game. A lot of division games this week. Minnesota and Green Bay. And Green Bay favored by 2.5 points, man. And Minnesota, obviously, Sam Darnold dealing with a little injuries, expected to give it a go for this week. He's banged up. But this is also the return of Aaron Jones, going back to Green Bay. So Jordan Love, who's been out for a few weeks, is getting in some limited work, could be available this week. Remains to be seen if he's going to be starting. Matt LaFleur supposedly said that this is a game time decision. He'll be available all the way up until game time, which doesn't help us as far as his bet and as far as who we think starting the game. So I'm going to go with the assumption that Jordan Love is out there this week. That's the assumption I'm going to go. And I'm assuming he's going to be a little limited. Going up against this Brian Flores defense, to me, Minnesota has kind of been undervalued this entire season. So seeing him at this 2.5 points kind of makes me think that Jordan Love is going to be the starter for this team and that they'll lean on the run game. If Jordan Love's a starter, I'm going with Green Bay in this one. And I know this is probably a contrarian pick. A lot of people are probably going to find value with Minnesota. But I think Green Bay handles things at home, even if Minnesota is playing better right now.
All right, so you're assuming that Jordan Love is playing based off the points. I think that Green Bay being favored, yeah, it is at home. Yeah, they are a good team. Jordan Love, I don't know. If he makes it back, I can see why they would be favored. I still think it's disrespectful. Minnesota's defense is going to come and shut shit down. Their crazy schemes, how they make the quarterback make tough decisions, and they're consistently blitzing, dropping back in zone and waiting to see, okay, what are these guys going to do? I don't think Jordan Love's going to have a lot of time. And if he's out there, he's not as mobile. I think they're going to get to him a lot. On top of that, mixed with the run game that Minnesota has on offense, like just that whole tempo and scheme that they've got, how it's balanced and how they can create opportunities. I see a close game, but I see Minnesota pulling it out just based off of that defense.
Well, like Darnold's dealing with an injury himself, so it's not like he's clean. And we know that Justin Jefferson, Jair Alexander, they've had battles in the past, whether he stayed match up on him or not. We've seen him be shut out before, and we've seen Justin Jefferson also go off. So it's a little bit of a wild card there. But the Green Bay side of it, P, this is why I'm really in on Green Bay to win this game. The one thing about their offense is that it's not a spread it out, and we got to throw deep downfield, and like we got to worry about a blitzing offense because what do? They'll use Christian Watson. They'll use Jaden Reed behind the line of scrimmage. They'll use Josh Jacobs dump off in the receiving game. Jordan Love, if he's healthy enough to run, can scramble a little bit. Malik Willis, if he's a starter, can run a little bit. So some of that blitzing stuff that a lot of teams don't have an answer for, Green Bay's actually built to kind of counteract that because there's stuff in the short to intermediate game. So I like Green Bay in this one. I know you got Minnesota, but this will be a good game. I think this is going to be one of the more fun games to watch, especially if Love is out there.
Yeah, I could take that.
All right, moving on. Pittsburgh and Indy.
Ooh.
This got trap game written all fucking over it, don't it?
You think so?
This got trap game written all over it, don't it? Undefeated Pittsburgh for Anthony Richardson. They're going into Indy, and he can't throw the football, going up against this Pittsburgh defense that's top 5 defense, damn near the best defense in the league right now.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously been making things tough on quarterbacks all season. And, I don't know where you're at with this one, P. Let me know, man, because this is one of those games where we was talking about that fish earlier. It's probably salmon, might be some trout. A little fishy in this motherfucker.
Some big mouth bass, maybe.
How you feeling on this one?
Oh, okay. I'm picking first this time. I thought, okay, I picked first last time. I'll pick first again. It's all good.
I picked Green Bay first last time. What you talking about?
Oh, okay.
Bro?
My B.
The show, bro. We go
right.
me and you. Get with it.
All right, yo. I'm gonna tell you like this, man. I got to see it. Is Buckner playing? Is he?
No, he's out. He's on IR.
Yeah. So Buckner ain't playing. Listen, I think that this team, Najee's healthy. He's gonna be playing. I really think this is where it is. The reason I was asking if Buckner's playing, that center that they got in Pittsburgh, he's running shit. He's nice. He's nasty, bro. And that's why that's why they're focusing on the run. The fact that Buckner's not there, I think they're going to control it. And I haven't even talked about their defense yet. I really think Pittsburgh's defense, I mean, obviously it's legit, but more so, can we see A-Rich process? Can we see him do more than just hit the big play, make 9-10 completions a game? Can he be consistent? Can he read these type of defenses? Is he going to be, I mean, we know he's mobile, but is he going to be able to slay this defense? I doubt it. Give me Pitt, baby. Give me Pitt. And one more point. I also see your boy, Justin Fields, taking another step in this offense. I think they let him a little bit more loose. So, give me Pittsburgh.
No, you're hitting all the right points there. It's just this line is fishy to me. And when there's these fishy lines, sometimes they speak more like everything in me says Pittsburgh's playing better right now. Justin Fields looks the part. He's going to be the starter. He looked better in his last start. This Indy defense, suspect, losing pieces on the defensive line. So the run game is going to be there. They didn't really, they're not this great team at stopping the run or the pass. This Indy defense is just kind of mediocre at best. Like, this seems like a Pittsburgh game, but going into a desperate Indianapolis team that's desperate for answers offensively, what we saw early on and what we've seen is the deep shots with Anthony Richardson, kind of playing that downfield. And it feels like Shane Steichen's going to be like, you know what, let's dial this thing back a little bit, get our quarterback in good situations at home, focus on Jonathan Taylor. I'm going to go Indy on this one. I'm going to go Indy because I think this is the sharp play. And I'm kind of going on the sharp side here, and this not a lot of data to back this up. This is one of those, hey, we need to get a win type thing. We're at home. Let's use the crowd. Let's get our guys in good spots and correct this ship. So that's why I'm taking Indy in this one.
Okay. What do you think about the over-under on this?
40's kind of, it's low, but if you think about both of these teams, they're going to be sticking to running the football and using their mobile quarterback's legs. So we can see a lot of time eating off the clock there. And I the one thing is, if the Colts do decide to dial things back, we're going to be able to tell. And the score kind of indicates that like it's going to be tough sledding on both offenses. I don't know. You talked about Justin Fields' breakout though, bro. Like you're buying the uptick in points. What you thinking on this one?
What I'm thinking is that, I think that they're gonna let him loose, right? It seems like the first few weeks, they've been trying to contain him. They've been trying to protect the ball and just have him not make mistakes. But we've seen that he's starting to run a little bit more, get a little bit more rushing attempts. He got a rushing touchdown last week. I think they're giving him an opportunity as Russ gets more healthy. They're giving him an opportunity to really say, yo, you want this team or not? You know what I'm saying? And if you could show out here, and I think that's going to be in the tune of, more flashy runs, right? Not consistency or not erratic, a little bit more control, but I think they're putting the ball in his hands a little bit more this game to see what he has, is what I'm trying to say. So I could see them putting up 20 points themselves, because this Indy defense, to be quite frank with you, with no Buckner, it's ugly. It's ugly. And it's not, they're going to be running down their throats, and they're going to build off the run. If you can run down a team's throat, you can really do anything to that team. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I mean. I think Justin Fields has an opportunity to stay moving forward. This is my team, and this is the perfect game to do it.
It's going to be tough there. The Steelers in their games haven't totaled over 30 points yet this season.
Yeah.
Denver and New York, real quick. You buying Anthony Richardson coming back or no? You think he's a lost cause for the season? You think it's going to take him a few weeks? Like, where are you at on A-Rich? Real quick before we get into
it. That's a good one. I was going to ask you that. Why are you trying to trade for him? No, to keep it real, I think that I think A-Rich is going to find himself. I think that they're going to go back to what was working last year, and it's not just the run. It's also getting Michael Pittman more involved.
Yes.
Right. It's trying to get creative with Michael Pittman to be that easy outlet. And so I'm not writing him off yet. No, by no means. There's too much there to just write him off. Yeah. But he has to show me something, man. It's kind of getting.
He's like a top 10 guy. Like, it's not like I don't think he's a bad quarterback. I think so. Part of what I think the issue is sometimes early in the year is when you find something that hits, it's like you stick to it, right? Kind of like the Saints. Like, we know they've done Kamara and then deep shots to Rashid Shaheed. That's like work for that offense. But now teams are expecting it. So when we talk about the Colts, it's like we know, okay, A-Rich is going to use his legs. Jonathan Taylor's going to run. And now we're going to take the deep shot to Alec Pierce. Now we're going to take the deep shot to A.D. Mitchell. Now we're going to take the deep shot to Josh Downs. And so I think teams are just expecting that shit now. So they're going to have to find a different way. It's kind of like in Madden. When you play somebody in Madden enough, you know their tendencies. And I think A-Rich's tendency right now is look for the hero play. And I think Shane Steichen's got to get him dialed in. I think it happens. He's not going to be able to do that against his blitz.
That's what I'm saying.
Defense, so you better figure some shit out.
So you got Indy right there, right?
No, I got Indy. You got Pitt.
Yeah.
Denver, New York. I don't know how much time we got to spend on this one. Denver obviously is the inferior team here. I'm going with the Jets in this one. This is a pretty easy one for here. Should be a defensive battle. I don't know that we get to this 39.5 points, even though it is low and the total has started to creep up a little bit higher. From the Jets side, it looks like they're finally figuring some things out after a strong win the other day. And I think they're finding their pieces and only getting stronger. Like Lazard's going to get stronger. Braylon Allen's going to get stronger. Mike Williams is going to get stronger. Tyler Conklin's going to get stronger. And at some point, Garrett Wilson's going to be better too. Aaron Rodgers is going to find his groove a little bit more throughout the year. So this is definitely more about the Jets than it is about the Broncos, who I think are just an inferior team. Maybe if you're playing the points here, you'd look a little differently. But straight up, I don't see a world where the Jets lose this game.
Yeah, I'm with you on that to keep it short and sweet. I will say that I like what I saw from Denver last week. It seems like Sean Payton is just like making, is having their quarterback look a little bit more comfortable. And talk about a rough start to a season in terms of quarterbacks that you're facing and defensives that you're facing for Garrett Wilson. He's got to go up against, all of these corners that he's been playing up until now you got Surtain. Man, for those fantasy owners, just get, a few more weeks. But, Yeah,
No,
give me the Jets.
hey, I was talking about that the other day. It gets rough for Ridley until like week 13 or week 4, or rough for Garrett Wilson until like week 14, bro. It's literally corner after corner after corner after corner. Hold on. While we talking about that real quick, I want to pull it up because I talked about it the other day. And for Garrett Wilson, I was like, bro, like Aaron Rodgers had come out and said, oh, he got 10 targets. That's not enough. Or 11 targets. That's not enough. They got Denver, Patrick Surtain. They got Minnesota, Stephon Gilmore. They got Rasul Douglas, Buffalo, Pittsburgh, Joey Porter Jr., Christian Gonzalez, New England, Derek Stingley, Houston. Then Arizona is the very next, like that's the next game, Arizona, Indy.
Wow, that's
all the way till week 10 until we see a good matchup on paper for Garrett Wilson.
Damn,
crazy! Right
that
now.
is tough.
You might be talking buy low on Garrett Wilson at that time.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely more of the Jet side than it is. And the Denver Broncos have a lot of question marks too. Josh Reynolds questionable for this game. I think Cortland Sutton's even banged up for this game. And we don't even know who the starting running back is. Javonte Williams, Tyler Batty. Like it's bad right now.
It's Tyler Batty. It is Batty. Yeah.
Into a better game here. Eagles in Tampa Bay. And for UP, like obviously I know this is your hometown team.
I spent 8 months in a Tampa Bay suburb, and this is my hometown
Forever you
team.
gonna be a Tampa Bay stand, bro. The Philly and Tampa, man. The Eagles and the Bucks. And the Eagles might be without a bunch of receivers here, bro. Like obviously AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, both of them got to get back in. We saw elevated level of play from Saquon Barkley, Dallas Goedert last week. Tampa Bay coming off of a bad L for them. Who you like in this game?
I like Tampa. Give me Tampa as for a straight up win. Philly's reeling. Philly came off of a grinder game against NO. Ultimately, I just think that Tampa has too much firepower. I like Godwin to have a good game, and I also like Mike Evans to have one of his Mike Evans type games, maybe like 80 yards, 80, 90 yards, 2 touchdowns. I could see that. They got embarrassed last week against Denver and Pat Surtain and them. I think that they're going to come out firing. And I think Bucky also has a game as well. So, with Philly reeling, they're going to lean heavily on Saquon, but Tampa ain't no punk when it comes to the run. So yeah, give me Tampa. I'm taking Tampa here.
Off of bad loss last week, this kind of feels like a get-right game for Tampa. It's just Philly is a tough team, man.
Yeah.
Tough team. And like even without receivers, Saquon brings a whole different element to this team that wasn't there before, like a threat and a danger for any defense. And Tampa, for all their, for everything they are, they're kind of like an above average team to me, in my opinion. Yeah. Whereas when Philly's dialed in, it feels like they could be a real threat. So I like Philly in this game, but I think the bounce back effort, I'm just going to hold you. The bounce back effort to me is speaking for Tampa, just coming off of the loss that they have. I don't see them losing 2 games like that in a row. And so I'm going to go Tampa on this one at home. I am. What's wrong with that?
You say you like Philly. I wrote down Philly. Now you switch them back on Tampa. I mean, like, what's going on?
Bro. You got to wait for the take. I do like Philly. I think Philly's the better team, but this reminds me a little bit earlier. Sometimes the situation matters in the team right now, and I think Tampa's in a must-win spot. Otherwise, I just feel like this is a game that they win at home. I got Tampa.
Yeah, one more quick point. I mentioned, I think last week I mentioned about like how a lot of teams didn't play in the preseason, like their starters. So teams are really starting to gel. And with Philly and their defensive coordinator, Vic Fangio, they look like they are gelled and they're tied in from that defensive performance we've seen against NO. I just think Tampa has a little bit more of the, you're going to have to guard 2 really good wide receivers versus like, let's take away the deep pass and then focus on the run. So NNA, that 2000s Tampa team, no punk, but we can move on. We can move on.
Listen, Tampa, man, not the old team, but this new team, they come to play. And Baker, man, he's one of those players you just can't always count out. It's just, I think I would be. Here's how I want to play this. For the record, it's Tampa. But if we had Devontae Smith on the field, I would be switching to Philly. Like they had a receiver out there, I would be switching to Philly. That's where I'm at. Okay. AJ Brown or Devontae.
Okay.
Cincinnati, excuse me, and Carolina. Cincinnati, Carolina. Obviously, the Bengals going into Carolina, coming off their only win, but a big win for the Carolina franchise. Obviously, some questions remain as far as what that looks like for the rest of the season. But Cincy still looking for answers on their end off a bad Monday night loss to the Commanders. And, you talk about must-win games, an AFC team that absolutely needs to win this game in order to stay in contention. Like, I don't see a world where – I didn't think they were going to lose to the Commanders at home. We both picked Cincinnati. I think I'm still picking Cincinnati in this situation. I don't fully trust an Andy Dalton revenge game in Cincinnati. I'm not buying all that shit. The revenge games, they're always there. Can it be Cincinnati in this one night? I think we see more of T. Higgins this week. I think we see more of what we like about this passing game for the Cincinnati Bengals. So this Carolina secondary has been vulnerable at times this year, more so than they typically are. Even though we talk about a guy like J.C. Horn, and especially when you can move Jamar Chase around the lineup, it'll suit him a little bit better. So give me Cincinnati. I think this game has potential to be higher scoring than even this number indicates.
Yeah, I do. I think that Carolina last week was riding high, and there's a reason why I picked them last week. But I think they're riding.
By the way, great pick, by the way.
That's all I got, baby. That's the only ones I got. But
they got the same record. Stop it.
Stop it. But I'll tell you this, though. I think that last week they were riding the high. It seems like it was a change. They have adequate quarterback play. This Cincy defense is horrible, bro. It's like, we talk about how they played. We talk about how teams play to the competition. You play KC really tough. Then you just go and get torched by a rookie QB who had a bomb performance, by the way, but damn. I just don't see that many, receiving threats. I don't see them getting beat by the deep ball against Cincy. Yeah, I mean, Cincy, they better win. I'm picking Cincy.
Yeah, I don't see a world where they do. Now, do you think we see good Andy Dalton or bad Andy Dalton this week?
I mean, I think that I think he is who he is. I don't think he's not a bad quarterback. I think we see this is what we're going to see from Andy Dalton. 245, 2 and a pick. That's what Andy Dalton's going to be.
They'll make some plays, and then potentially give the game away as well. I expect Cincinnati's offense to look much sharper than it did. It looks good against the Commanders, don't get me wrong, but much sharper than it did early in the season. I expect that to continue. And I think we see some up and down play from this Carolina team throughout the season, even with Andy Dalton as a starter. I don't know if this is a long-term fix or Andy's going to be throwing for 250, 300 yards every week.
Yeah.
But for now, it's fun to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Jacksonville, Houston. And Jags, man, this is dire situation for the Jags, who are 0-3. Not a lot of optimism. I picked them to win last week, and obviously that was the wrong pick. Mm-hmm. But this Jacksonville team, Trevor Lawrence is under the scope right now. He's under fire. And to be honest, this Houston team had a lot of high expectations coming off of a bad loss for them. Both of these teams, man, are AFC South teams. Have high hopes for the division. Who you got in this one, bro? Because this one, even though there's a 6-point spread, this one could be a nail biter.
I don't think it will be. I think that this could be the week we see Doug Peterson get canned. I think that Houston, after taking that ugly loss last week, I think Houston got something to prove. No Tank Dell. But I think Houston's going to come out and run these guys. I think their defense is going to, be adequate. I just don't see a path where Jacksonville's offense can consistently gain yards. I don't see, I think there has to be a change because they have a lot of talent on Jacksonville, but they just haven't lived up to it. And it doesn't look like they're functional. It's, give me Houston. Give me Houston. I think that they're going to win handily. I think
if I was picking spread, I would go Jacksonville here. And typically what I do here is I've talked about this. I pick the team and the points because a lot of times they can cover the points that they're on track to win, right? But in this scenario, it's tough to gauge. It's tough to respect what Jacksonville brings to the table right now because they haven't been winning games and they have been a disappointment and they really are a game or two away from a coaching change. Like that's a real dilemma. And if you're betting on Jacksonville to win this game, the only reason you're betting on it is because you think players are going to buy in and protect their coach. They're going to play better. Christian Kirk's going to be better. This run game is going to be better. Trevor Lawrence is going to be better. And he's really Jekyll and Hyde. Like we see stretches of Trevor Lawrence where he is cold, ice cold, and then we see red hot fucking Trevor Lawrence. So in order to bet on Jacksonville Jaguars to win this game, I would need to absolutely see red hot Trevor Lawrence emerge out of nowhere. So do I think he could get started this week? Yes. Would I be willing to put my pick on it? Hell no. I'm gonna go with CJ Stroud. I'm gonna go potentially Cam Baker. I'm gonna go Houston on this one. I ain't putting my pick on it, but it would not shock me to see Jacksonville make this thing more competitive than people hope.
Man. You mentioned that hot and cold streak from Trevor Lawrence. I wonder like how much of that is him saying like, let me take over this game versus like, okay, what's the next play, coach? You know what I'm saying?
What do you mean? What do you mean by that? Like he's
so like yeah. So like obviously he got paid the big bucks, and you expect him to take a step forward, being one of the top quarterbacks paid, right? He was one of the most touted rookies coming out since Andrew Luck, is what they said, right? He has talent. He can run the rock. He can throw. He can make every throw. He's accurate. He's got a live arm. He's got the long hair, all of that stuff, right?
Right.
But it just seems like his coach is like, this is the play we're going to do. We're not going to give you much flexibility. And the fact that, Doug Peterson's on the hot seat because they can't, I don't know. Do you see them putting up 24 points?
So it's one of those buy-in things. This is completely a buy-in thing. So if the players buy in and Christian Kirk is better and ETN runs harder and we're just seeing a complete change from this offense, then yes, I can see a 24-point, 30-point, even against Houston. Like I can see it happening. It's all a matter of, can this team get some of the functional things right offensively and even defensively? I mean, we're seeing defensively, your boy Eric Armstead, you sent me a clip the other day. My Lord. Like, it's like they're a great defensive team. But at the end of the day, we got to see this team just perform better. So,
but you mentioned a buy-in game. What exactly are they buying into? The play calling? Are they buying into that?
Each other.
No, I think they're buying into the coach.
Yes, that's what I mean. Each other. The team, right? It's good. We're going to talk about a team here in a couple games. We're going to talk about a team that's going through the exact same thing out in Las Vegas. So it reminds me a lot of this. But I think Jacksonville, Doug Peterson normally is able to get the ship right. We're going to find out here very soon. I got Houston now.
Okay.
Washington and Arizona, highest scoring game on the board. Kyler Murray versus Jaden Daniels. This is must-see TV, right here. Must-see TV. Washington coming off of a big win against Cincinnati, going into Arizona. Kyler's playing really good football right now, just in real life, playing real good football. Jonathan Gannon has this thing running the right way. I'm not sold on the Commanders going into Arizona on a short week and getting a win here. That would be two big-time games, and that's an emotional win they just got on Monday Night Football. Jaden Daniels with the completion percentage, has another rookie record, or second in something when it comes to rookies. I forget what it was, but setting records after his performance. I'm taking Arizona in this one at home. I think they are going to get it done, and it's solely for the fact, if this was flip-flopped, if Washington was at home, I'd probably play Washington. So, like I said, short week, on the road, off an emotional win. I'm going to take Arizona in this one, and I don't know that I would say that one of these two is just completely better than each other. I think they're both kind of similar teams, ride the hot wave, probably a shootout in a close scoring game in the fourth quarter. I'll take Arizona on this one at home with the 3.5 even.
Yeah, I think that this is going to be one of those games where it is, a battle of potential rookie of the years. We see Marvin Harrison Jr. is probably right now maybe third on that list, offensive rookie of the year. But I see a revenge game happening. And
Uh-oh.
we dropping the
Uh-oh.
R word, baby. I
Revenge game.
see a revenge game happening. And with who, might you ask?
I didn't even think of this.
Cliff Kingsbury coming back and saying, "Oh, you think y'all gonna rock with my team? Let's put it on you." I think they're gonna come try to make a statement. I think they're gonna come. I think, like I said, they let Jaden Daniels cook. We've seen what he can do, and since he's not a horrible defense, I think since his defense is probably better than Arizona's. But it's going to be a close game because I think that where Arizona has the advantage is in the running game because they could run the rock, and you have to. It's not like Kyler's also running. You have to account for Kyler as well. He's not just going to be mobile in the pocket, but I ultimately think Washington comes out the victor. I'm taking Washington in this one. At Arizona, I think Cliff Kingsbury comes out and makes a statement, and I think the Jaden Daniels train keeps running.
Jaden Daniels train keeps running. That'd be I think that's one of those things where the right hot streak for Jaden Daniels might have this team in the playoff picture more than we thought coming into the year. Oh, a game we hopefully don't have to spend much time on. New England, San Francisco. Yeah. Both of us are very upset after the last 2 losses we have had here. We could have picked against our team in our very first 2 episodes and been undefeated, which is crazy to say for a team with the caliber of weapons that the Niners have. Now, the Niners reeling right now at home against the New England team. Does either one of us have the cojones to say New England Patriots?
I'm going to say this. No, I ain't going to turn my head backwards. No, I'm not going to do that. Look, we should have easily beat the Rams. It just comes down to firepower. We're hurt. We're reeling, all that good stuff. New England doesn't have an offense that we have to respect, right? They don't have an offense. I sent you that meme about throwing a 6-yard New England throwing a 6-yard. Bro, yeah, Brissett. But I mean, ultimately, dude, I think we can see another Jawan Jennings type game with Gonzalez falling around Ayuk. But I also think the fact that we're going to try and get Ayuk a little bit more acclimated this week. I think that he does have a game himself on Gonzalez because albeit Gonzalez is a good corner. He's not a great corner in my opinion. He's not elite. He's long. He's rangy. He could be schemed against. We've seen Shanahan do that to just about every corner. Yeah, give me the Niners, man. And if you guys embarrass me this time, I mean, I'm a faithful. What you want me to do?
I'm still gonna pick you next week.
That's facts.
I don't see a world where New England can even keep up with us in this game. When you mentioned Gonzalez, I completely disagree with him there. I think that he is one of the elite corners in the game, and I think it's easy to maybe scorebox watch, but Gonzalez, man, he stays on one side of the field, and so I think that's the only problem with him is that like we saw, what was it, DK and JSN, they was moving him up all the way to the other side and got going. So if we do that with Ayuk and Jennings, it's going to be a long day for this Patriots defense.
Gonzalez stays on one side of the field. Yeah. I thought he was moving around, following Garrett Wilson around. What side is he on?
He stays on right side.
No,
he's on
left
side. Left side.
Oh,
left
okay,
side.
Yeah, because I thought he was
a receiver. My bad.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. All right. Well,
so, it is what it is. Yeah. At this point, hey, it doesn't matter either way. Niners and 6.
Niners and 6.
Whatever you want to say.
Niners and 4.
Cleveland and Las Vegas, man. I alluded to this one already, P. Is this the end of Antonio Pierce, man? It feels like he's kind of losing this team. In Cleveland, it's not like they're playing much better. They're just doing, feels like Deshaun Watson, man. We haven't seen him fully look like himself either. So I think that's the only reason the Raiders are favored in this game. And this could be one of those ugly wins for the Raiders, or it could be one of those situations where we see Cleveland start to dial things in. Amari Cooper was limited in practice. He is still expected to play for this week. But Jerome Ford is very questionable for this week. It would be a Deontay Foreman type game if he's not able to give it a go. I am in on Cleveland on the road in Las Vegas, even though this seems like Antonio Pierce, we got some people in here mailing it in. We going to address that. I'm kind of thinking like he might be a little bit in over his head when it comes to coaching right now. And I think it was a feel-good story last year. Josh McDaniel experience did not work. He came in there, had a good second half, but now you have to actually coach a team. You can't just coach it purely off emotion. Dan Campbell's probably one of the only guys that we've seen be really successful at that, and it took him a few years to get things going. I got Cleveland in this one, and I think maybe it's a close game. Maybe we don't see nothing exciting out of Cleveland. I think they're a better team right now than the Las Vegas Raiders are.
Yeah, I mean, you make a lot of really good points. It's I'm never one for like hiring and continuing interim head coaches because who knows if the team was just happy for a change at that point. Now you make deals like, you maintain, Zamir White and you let Josh Jacobs go, right? And Josh Jacobs was the heart of that team for at some point. Now you're trying to get rah and speak some life into like a Devontae Adams. Yep. And it's not coming off sounding good in the tabloid saying, some players make quote, quote, business decisions. It's like, and then he's like, oh, we're going to make some business decisions too. A little side note for if you guys are playing fantasy, we know most of you guys are, try and trade for Devontae Adams now because I see them trading him mid-season or by the deadline to something, and that's just going to speak life into his fantasy season at that point. But back to this game, I really think that Cleveland, they have all the pieces on defense. I don't know why they haven't been putting it together, but I think I can't turn my back on them now. I think they're going to put it together this week. I think that, those rah words are falling on deaf ears at this point, and I think there's going to be a lot of changes coming in Las Vegas.
They say history repeats itself, bro, and this kind of reminds me of a dark time in the Niners world. Mike Singletary, hold my pants down, and what did he say? He can't win with him. Can't win. It reminds me a lot of this, bro. Like, that's kind of what this reminds me of. Singletary, Mike Pierce, or Antonio Pierce. Moving on to KC and the Chargers. Hopefully I don't think we need to spend too much time on this one. KC for me is the easy pick here. P, are you going against that or what?
No, I'm not going against that. Is Herbert in or is he out? Do we know?
He is questionable for the week, dealing with the injury, but the team also does have a week 5 bye.
Yeah, I'm taking KC. Derwin James is also out, and Derwin James is known for like locking up a Kelsey type player, but Kelsey, he's been locking him damn self up. But yeah, we don't need to spend too much time. Give me KC.
KC, it is Sunday night football game. We got a good one. Buffalo and Baltimore. It should be a really good game here. Baltimore's favored by 2.5 points, 46.5 points on the board. Pete, since that was a slide through, I'll let you get this first one if you want it first. If you want me to take it, I don't care. We can do whatever you want. This is going to be one of them games, though, bro.
Yeah, man.
Baltimore at home is tough. And Buffalo, man, looks like one of the stronger teams in the NFL right now.
Yeah, I like what Buffalo's doing. They get rid of Diggs. Now teams don't know how to game plan against them. They can air it out, but they're one of the better running teams now. So with that being said, I got to yield to the home team. I think Baltimore plays up to their level of competition, and Buffalo, they're looking at Buffalo like, man, let's dog these dudes and let's get who we are back. Let's dog them. Let's do what we got to do defensively because they've been kind of sliding defensively lately. But let's get that back together. Let's do a heavy dose of King Henry and let's see what it does. Buffalo has a really good secondary, and I like what they do. They play a lot like me and Madden. They do these dink and dunk plays. Getting 5 yards, 7 yards, 8 yards, 10 yards. They really take their time working down the field, and then they play defense. So by the time you're third or fourth possession, you're like, damn, we're down by like 10 points. And, we got to try to push the field. And that's where they capitalize because they got a good corner out there. I just think that Baltimore plays that game a little bit better than them. Give me Baltimore.
Yeah, you mentioned it's like you and Madden. It's kind of like me and Madden too with Baltimore, man. A little inconsistent at times, but play that game a little bit better than the other team. And at home, you know what I'm saying? It could be a close match. But listen, I think the one thing that Buffalo is going to be able to do is throw the ball around on Baltimore secondary right now. It's been beatable all season long. But where I see the difference in this game is that we haven't seen Baltimore put this thing all together offensively. They've had Derrick Henry at times. They tried the receivers. They had Isaiah Likely. So I think this is going to be like, how do you beat us now type thing. And we probably see a mix of Zay Flowers getting his 7 to 10 targets, Isaiah Likely and Mark Andrews both being used in the tight end game, Derrick Henry on the ground, Lamar on the ground. If Baltimore is going to beat this Buffalo team, it has to be through a thorough mix at home with the energy behind them. Give me Baltimore in this game as well. It's not. I would say this though. It's not a very confident pick. Like this is going to be a tough matchup, but I like Baltimore in that game.
Yeah.
Tennessee, Miami, 36.5 points, bro. On one of the Monday night games. I don't even know if I'll be watching this motherfucker. Like I might just turn it to the other one. This is ugly, bro. Give me Tennessee. Give me Miami. I don't really even care, to be honest with you. I'm gonna go Tennessee in this one. I hate it. I hate this matchup. I hate this play. We don't even know who's going to be at quarterback for Miami as of right now. Could be Tim Boyle. Could be Tyler Huntley. Would prefer if it's Tyler Huntley for Miami's sake. But going into Miami in a Monday night football game, I don't have much confidence in either team. I'm going to trust the Tennessee defense. Both these defenses are actually pretty good. But I'm going to trust the Tennessee defense a little bit more. Give me Will Levis. Give me the Titans. I don't know. I don't care.
Give me another picture, another meme-worthy picture of Will Levis. Nah, but I'm gonna tell you like this. No. I'm gonna tell you like this, man. I think this is Tennessee, and I think it ain't gonna be close. I think we see a big game from Pollard this week. I think that Tennessee's defense is legit. I really like what they're doing on defense. They got that stud corner. They got other pieces in place. Whether it's Skylar Thompson, whether it's Boyle, whether it's Tyler Huntley, I don't think it fucking matters. If it ain't Tua, we don't want it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm taking Tennessee. I'm taking Tennessee rather comfortably. And it's based off of their defense. If they got somebody back there at quarterback that doesn't know what he's doing, is afraid to make a deep play, doesn't know how to read defenses, they're going to be in for a long fucking night against Tennessee.
In for a long fucking night. I like it. Seattle and Detroit Monday night game, the better of the two Monday night games. We got Seattle going into Detroit. And obviously both of these teams, Seattle's been playing surprisingly well with Ryan Grubb and new Mike McDonald, new coaching staff. So Detroit coming off of L, right? Detroit coming off of L. I forget who they played last week.
No, they won.
They won. Who they beat last week?
Arizona.
Oh yeah, Detroit
that
coming
little
off
hook and ladder.
Yeah. Detroit win. But this is a Monday night game, man, and the stakes are going to be high for this one. Who you got in this? Seattle or Detroit?
I like Seattle, and one of the things I wanted to look up was their competition, because they are 3-0. I like Detroit. Give me Detroit. I'm looking at who they played. So, look, they opened up against the Broncos.
Oh, Seattle, yeah.
Yeah, Seattle opened up against the Broncos, and they play the Patriots, and then they played Tua-less Dolphins. I think that Seattle is really one of those faux 3-0 teams. I think that they're not really what their record shows, and I think Detroit exposes them. I think Detroit runs all over them. And 3.5 is I think is disrespectful.
I think we'll see Seattle play well in this game. Like for fantasy purposes, I love like a Geno Smith, JSN, DK Metcalf. If you want to stack those guys up, I think this passing attack is going to be fine. It's just they literally shut down the run game, and if Kenneth Walker's not playing, I don't want it this week when it comes to the run game. The one thing I want to see is if McDonald's really made an impact on this defense, or if it is, like you said, the nature of the opponents they faced so far. And that's one thing I'll be watching for, as Jared Goff at home will have he's going to have to take some shots. So I want to ride. I'm going to pick Detroit. I'm gonna pick Detroit.
Hey, pick who you want to pick, bro.
I am. I'm picking who I want, and it's just a lot of things are speaking to what I think Seattle could be. It's just this will give me more confirmation moving forward if the defense does play well or if it was a fluke. I had Detroit down. That's what I think it is, but and I don't want to switch it up just based on me talking right now. So I'm gonna rock with Detroit.
Talk yourself into it, bro. Talk yourself into it. Now, I will say this. You bring up a good point because I do think that passing attack is, it matches up well against Detroit's secondary. So when I say 3.5 is disrespectful, it may be closer to 3.5. It could be like this could very well be like a 27-24 game, 27-21 maybe. I don't know, but I just think Detroit's going to choke them out. I think that they're going to be able to handle the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. So, yeah, I mean, Detroit's just going to outclass them.
Well, those go our picks for today, man. And obviously, P and I, we disagreed on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Who did you pick? Did you pick Washington or Arizona?
I picked Arizona.
Oh, okay, for sure.
Yeah, we got like 6, 7 disagreements on this page. So we'll come back to this obviously next week. More to come with me and P. We'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out.